Hello everybody, and today we are going to take a look at the DJI Osmo Mobile M. And so if you've been following along with the adventures of whatever I've been doing with my life, this is the device that I used at CES to record all the demo products, the video that Paul and I made of the behind the scenes stuff. And so this is the gimbal. I've had it now for a little over a week, and I've been using it quite a bit, and it's a neat little thing. And so what this device is, I refer to it as a smart selfie stick because it kind of looks like one. And so it is in its off configuration right now, but when I turn it on, you'll see here that the phone is level. And so what this device allows you to do is to record video that is smooth. So if you hold the phone, hold the button here, you can see that I can move my hand any which way, and that camera is staying relatively level and stable. And so it's not perfect. I mean, if you shake this thing, you're still gonna get shaky video. But what it really is designed to do is to hold the phone steady while you're walking, and it really does reduce that bounce you get, because every time you step, it's a hard jerk. And so you're not gonna get those hard jerks. It's a much smoother way to record video. And it's a little slow here because I have it intentionally set up that way, but you can see you can hold down the direction buttons on the stick here, and it will allow you to pan. And you'll see here, I recorded some nice smooth video of the box. I couldn't do that of the gimbal itself because then I would need another gimbal, and I only own one. And what you can do is what I was doing literally at CES is I would hold this thing down on a table and do nice pans, and you can do up and down and left and right. And it's just a gimbal. There's nothing more, nothing less, but it's a great little thing. It costs $299. It's from DJI, and it's called the Osmo Mobile. There is another Osmo out there that has a camera built in, and then you use your phone next to it. The reason why I went with this configuration is that it's because it's based on a phone. This is actually an iPhone 6. It's an older phone, and I'll explain why in a minute. But what it allows me to do is replace the camera as needed. I'm not locked into this device. All I bought was just the steady mount for the device and not a camera. And so every year when I get a new phone, I can upgrade this lens and get better camera out of it. And that's kind of the big benefit here. But there's a really big flaw with this thing, and you need to be painfully aware of it. And I knew this before I bought it, and this is why I'm using an iPhone 6. If your phone has optical image stabilization, and for those not familiar, inside the camera, it can actually do its own little kind of self-leveling. And so what happens with phones that have that feature is the gimbal is trying to, level itself here. And then the lens is trying to level itself. And what you get is a wobbling effect on the end video. And it's really important you know that. So what you need to do is either use a phone that does not have optical image stabilization, or simply just turn that feature off. The iPhone 7, as I'm aware of right now, does not allow for that. Certain Android phones do, but make sure your phone does not have optical image stabilization. Otherwise, the end result is not nearly as good as it could be. And so that is why I took an iPhone 6. I also used a Nexus 5X because I wanted to try both Android and iOS. And what I can tell you is that the Android app is not, both apps are fine, and what the apps allow you to do is set frame rates. There's a really neat feature in both apps that allows you to, in selfie mode, when you're looking at yourself, you can draw a face. It also works the other way too if you're tracking somebody. You can draw a square box around your face, and it'll actually track. So if I go like this, it's not on right now, the camera will actually move and follow my face. It's a really neat feature, and it works quite well. And that's the biggest benefit of using the mobile app, the DJI mobile app. Now, on the downside, on the Android app, it crashed a lot. Several times a day it would freeze, mostly when you would turn the phone off and then try to resume things. So it's not great. But the benefit, again, because you're using a phone, you can go in and use the stock camera app on either Android or iOS and get the same experience. You obviously can't do the face tracking, but for when you're doing product reviews and that kind of stuff, you don't really need that DJI app, so you just use the basic camera app. And then what I was doing was uploading it all to OneDrive, then I could grab it off my PC and go from there. I really like the fact that it uses a phone, because these phones are so powerful and so smart these days that they have everything you need built in. And so all you just need is the steady mount. Just be very, very acutely aware of that optical image stabilization. Now, DJI says that battery life is at 4 hours. And how you access the batteries, there's a little door down here, and every battery has this nice little tab, and you pull it out and you get this little battery. 4 hours is about right. I was getting that much. What I did do was I've actually bought 2 extra batteries with me to CES because 4 hours in we're working 12, 16-hour days obviously doesn't work. And so the battery very, very simply just slides right in like that. Close the door. There's a little switch and you're good to go. There is another auxiliary mount here. You can see me, it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but you can screw in and you can put other attachments on here, for like an external microphone and that kind of thing. The one oddity really not about this thing is how it charges. So this is a 3.5 millimeter headphone, what we would consider a headphone jack, to USB. I'm not making this up. 3.5 millimeter to USB. It plugs in the front like this, like so, you can see there, and you plug this into a USB wall socket, and that's how it charges. It's a very odd setup. I wish they would use some like USB micro or mini or some sort of standard other than this, because you don't have many of these cables. But when I bought the external batteries, I bought just a standard charger. And so I did not use this at all because it's odd. The other thing it does not come with is I bought this stand. This stand is $10, and what this allows you to do, because this device will not sit level on its own, like it balances like this, but as soon as that gimbal starts moving, it tends to fall over. And so for an additional $10, you can buy this little stand, and it will sit, and it works. As you can see, then you have this type of a setup, and it's great that you need this type of a setup for doing time lapses, and it's just kind of convenient to have. And so on the front here, which you have the joystick, you have a button for record. So this works too with the stock camera apps. You press this button and it will hit the shutter, record video or the like. And if you're using the DJI mobile app, this button down here will allow you, the bottom button will allow you to take photos. So it's nice if you're recording video, you can use the bottom one, tap it a couple times and you get some nice photos as well. Overall, I really like this thing. It's super helpful for making smooth video. I have a comparison, which I'll show right now. It shows me walking, and what I was trying to do here is to take 5 to 6 steps forward and backwards, recording the box, one with the gimbal, one without, and it shows the difference. Again, the gimbal is not perfect, but it really, really helps reduce the shakiness of a video. And so at $299, it's a good buy if you are okay with the caveats that come mostly with the optical image stabilization. I know I keep hitting on that because I know someone's gonna buy this thing and they're gonna use it with their iPhone 7 and they're gonna be like, man, you know, I use this stuff, but I'm getting this weird, that's gonna be the downside. It works with just about any type of phone. One thing you need to be aware of, so when you unhook this thing, there's a screw mount on the back. It's very, very simple to do. And you have this clip, as you can see, it expands. One of the problems I had with the Nexus 5X is that if you tighten this down too much, it can actually hit the buttons on the top of the phone. And you can't quite probably see it too much, but there's a little sensor right here on this arm that detects where the phone is, and it has to be far enough in, otherwise the gimbal is unbalanced. And so you can't just have it attached sitting out like this. It won't work. It's an unbalanced setup. And so that is one thing you can get away with it by just not, again, cinching it down. But that's a kind of a minor thing, but just something to be aware of if you have very sensitive buttons on the top. I had no issues with the iPhone in this instance. So the DJI Osmo Mobile is out now. You can go buy it from Amazon. Apple has it. I believe Best Buy and all the other major retailers have it. It's a good device. I really like it. It's going to be traveling with me to just about everything we do now. And if you haven't taken a look at the behind the scenes video that Paul and I made, I highly recommend it. It'll be linked in the post itself. And thanks for watching. This is the DJI Osmo Mobile M.